welcome to Kids in the Kitchen with Parks and Rec. My name is Penny Green and I'm the assistant manager with the Burt Cobb Rec Center. And today I have my daughter Casey with me.
Hello.
We are going to make refrigerator pickles for you today. This is an exciting recipe that you're only going to need a couple ingredients for. You are going to start with either 2 regular sized cucumbers or 10 to 12 pickling cucumbers, the little small ones. They tend to have a thicker skin and they're actually preferred for making pickles. I like the regular ones, but it's really going to be preference. You're going to need water, vinegar, garlic, dill, salt and pepper, and a little bit of sugar. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to get our brine started. We are going to need 4 cups of water. If you'll hand me the water. The great thing about this brine is it is ready once all the solids are dissolved. So I have the 4 cups of water. I've got my little burner turned on and ready. And then I need 2 cups of the distilled vinegar. Go ahead and open that. Now the benefit behind these refrigerator pickles is you basically get them, you put them in a jar, and you leave them for a week, and then they're ready to eat. You don't have to go through the process of canning them, doing the water bath and all of that. So then we've got our water, we've got our vinegar. Next thing we need is a teaspoon of sugar. You want to go ahead and get that. We have our fancy little cat teaspoons. Sugar and I need 2 tablespoons of salt. We are going to use, I use pink Himalayan salt, so. I'm excited for this. We got 1. You want to go ahead and fill the next one, Case. So while Casey's getting the next bit of salt going, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to prepare our jars. What we're going to need in our jars is a bunch of dill, and that's really going to be preference. It's going to be how dilly do you want your pickles. I really like dilly pickles, so I'm going to use a lot of dill. You can use fresh dill, which I actually gathered this from my garden, or you can use dried dill that you would get over from the seasoning section in the supermarket. Once we have the dill in there, we are also going to need some garlic. If you want to grab the teaspoon and put a teaspoon of garlic in each jar, and then you can use peppercorns. I actually prefer just to use the fresh cracked pepper, and then that's actually by preference also. Because these are kind of like a sit and forget kind of pickle, for me, I prefer the fresh cracked pepper rather than the peppercorn. If I was doing the canning method with the water bath, that's when I kind of like to use the whole peppercorns. Way to go. Let me get the pepper in this one. Casey, does the dill look good, or do we think we need to add more?
I think we need to add a little more in that jar.
Okay, so you can add that container there if you open that container over there. Okay, right, so that looks good to me. So I'm gonna set these to the side. Now when it comes to the cucumber, Casey wants to go ahead and make hers into circles. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do mine as spears. And it's really, like I said, with everything we do here on Kids in the Kitchen, it's all about preference. And you can go ahead and cut yours. And we're just gonna cut them and fill the jars. If you had a fancy mandolin, you could do that. Like Casey's
I almost feel like you could like use a spiralizer on these.
Oh, that would be really cool. She's cutting hers pretty thick. If you wanted thinner pickles, you could. I'm sticking mine in here and making them like that. Funny thing, Casey doesn't eat pickles, so that's how you know. That's how you can tell she doesn't eat pickles, by how thick she's cutting them. And then you can shove yours in this jar. And then
Maybe I should have chosen the spear. You can kind of just ram them in there.
Yep, that's what you do basically.
I'll cut this half a little thinner than that, like you said that.
And then I have that jar over there as well. So, depending on how big your cucumbers are is really depending on how many jars it's going to fill. Roughly 3 to 4 medium-sized jars. I can hear the brine boiling. It's not even really boiling. I can just hear it
Simmering?
Yeah, kind of moving around.
Help. This one's getting a little slippery.
Okay. Set it to the side and shove them in your jar.
That jar is good. Where's the other jar?
Right there. Oh wait, actually, you can probably shove a few more in this one. All right.
Oh yeah.
They'll fit. And then we'll just slip that one. So we got our cucumbers there. I actually do a lot of canning, so I have this funnel that's made for mason jars. If you don't, you can always use a ladle. And I'm just gonna give our brine a nice little stir.
Okay.
Casey, I'm gonna have you go ahead and give.
I think I fit as many cucumbers in there as possible.
Okay, I'm gonna have you give a little to the top of our cucumbers with the salt and the pepper one more time. And then I think we're gonna go ahead and fill these. Like I said, these are a sit and forget kind of pickle. You put them in the fridge, they sit for about a week, and then they're ready to enjoy.
And of course, if you do accidentally forget about them, when you do find them or remember about them, the longer you let them sit, the stronger they will be.
Right. Now, because there are no preservatives and we haven't canned them, you really want to enjoy them in about a month. After a month, you probably want to go ahead and get rid of them. So now that everything has dissolved in my brine.
Hold on. Got the phone.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay. So that's why it's good to have a sous chef here.
Don't want to get hot water everywhere.
Right.
So when you say that all the solids dissolve into liquid, what do you mean by that?
The what?
Like when you say all the solids dissolve into the liquid, do you mean like all the salt dissolves into the water?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all the salt has dissolved, and that's how you know the brine is ready. So when you look into the pot, all you are gonna see is a clear liquid. You won't see the granules of the salt or the sugar. I'm filling the jars to the top. And then if Casey, you wanna take the lid and screw them on. Ooh, that breeze feels phenomenal.
Yes, it is pretty hot today.
All right. Then if you want to hand me your jar.
Mine might be a little more difficult.
Nope, that's the great thing about this. I'll do it over.
Oh goodness, it's not one of the. Oh, there we go.
Boom.
We got pickles.
Yeah. So I like to talk about what ages each of these projects are for. Once again, we are using heat, so this is going to be a project that's geared more towards older chefs, definitely with adult supervision, because we are using sharp utensils. It's going to be definitely adult supervision. I would say this is going to be something in the area of like 8 and up, but definitely everybody's going to get to enjoy them.
When she says 8 and up, she means like 8-year-olds get to help, and from then on up, there's more room they can wiggle there for helping.
Well, as you can see, a pretty simple project, and that is refrigerator pickles. We hope you guys enjoy. That's Kids in the Kitchen. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Keith from Clarksville Parks and Rec, and I'm here to show you all how to play war ball. This is kind of like dodgeball, but instead you will use socks as grenades. We don't have socks, so we're just going to use our regular dodgeballs, but you all can use socks at home, and this is how you play. Alright, ready? You can see this side won that way. Now, another way to play this game is you choose a lieutenant for each team. If the lieutenant gets hit, that team automatically loses. For this side, our lieutenant will be Sammy. And for this side, our lieutenant will be Malik. Alright, are all the balls back? Is this one there? Are we missing about 2 balls? Oh, hold on. Okay, remember, if the lieutenant gets hit, that side home you can get tables and put them down like bunkers. That will make it more fun if you just want to make it seem more like war. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Sue Lewis. I'm the Curator of Education at the Customs House Museum and Cultural Center. And today we're sitting on a little stoop here just outside the FAUX family log house. This log house is a real log house. It was out in the country, and many years ago it was taken apart like a giant Lincoln log project and put back together inside the museum. And when you come to visit the museum, you can also come to visit the log house. Today I'm reading a book called The Boy Who Looked Like Lincoln. You also notice it says $5. If you have a $5 bill lying around the house, you can check it out, and you can find Lincoln's picture on that. Of course, Lincoln was one of our presidents, and we usually think that Lincoln, you know, we say he lived in a log house as if he was the only president that lived in a log house. There were lots of presidents that lived in log houses, as well as just lots of people. They were easy to build, and the supplies were readily available. My name is Benji. I'm 8 years old. I look a lot like Lincoln. People first noticed it when I was a baby. I guess I get it from my parents. We often look like our parents too. Sometimes we don't. Every birthday I get the same gifts. I even wear the dumb hat. Anything else looks silly on me. So he has to wear the Lincoln hat. Even when he tries on all these others, it just isn't the same. Oh, and this is from a famous speech. 70 ago. In every school play, I have to be Lincoln, even if he's not in the show. I don't believe Lincoln was ever in a show about teeth. But the worst part is the teasing. Hey, stinking Lincoln, splitting rails lately? Maybe you know what that feels like. So when school ended, I planned to spend the summer sitting in my room, in the dark. But my parents had a surprise for me. Oh, we never know what those surprises can be. They took me to a camp, a special camp, a camp for kids who look like things. There was a kid who looked like the Mona Lisa, which is a very famous painting, and a kid who looked like a frog, and one who looked like a toaster. There was even a kid who looked like the back of a horse. Would you like to look like the rear end of a horse? I felt really bad for him, but after a while, you didn't even notice. We had fun every day. And at night, I'd stay up late and read about Lincoln. He was a pretty cool guy. I made a lot of friends that summer, and so did the kid who looked like a horse's butt. On the last day of camp, my parents picked me up. "You look happy," said my dad. "You need a haircut," said my mom. When I went back to school, I felt a lot better. "Hey, little Lincoln, what you thinking?" I'm thinking how lucky I am to look like Abe Lincoln, our greatest president, who freed the slaves and won the Civil War and kept our country together, and the capital of Nebraska is named after him. I guess your face is one thing that makes you special. I hope you like yours. I know I like mine. And I like my face. Each of our faces is different, and each is a special person inside. And I think it may have helped to get me elected class president this year. Now I just have to figure out how to help my baby brother named Dickie. You have to look up the president called Richard Nixon to understand that part. Have fun, enjoy your time with your friends and family, and be happy about your face.
Welcome to Kids in the Kitchen with Parks and Rec. My name is Penny Green and I'm the Assistant Manager at the Burt Cobb Rec Center. And today we are going to make hobo dinners. With this recipe, you are going to need some aluminum foil, the meat of your choice. We are going to use some smoked sausage. I've also made this recipe with hamburger before. We're going to use potatoes, carrots, onions, and celery, but any kind of vegetable you like. You're going to need a little bit of butter and whatever seasoning you would like. To start this recipe, you're simply going to get a piece of the tin foil and set it aside. Next thing you're going to do is slice up the parts. The great thing about this is you can cook these on the grill. Today we're going to go ahead and cook them in the toaster oven. You can cook them on an open fire. And like I've said before in some of our little episodes, the recipes we do, we like to make them adaptive for different tastes and different palates. So if one person didn't like the onions, you can take it out, or if someone liked a lot of onions, you can add more. So that's what's really great about these recipes. If you had someone with a heftier appetite, you can make theirs a little bigger. If you had a younger one, make theirs a little smaller. So I'm gonna make 2 of these. So I've got our meat. Next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and cut up our onion. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way. So whatever you prefer is what you're gonna go ahead and put into your hobo dinner. Great thing about these is it's not gonna leave a lot of cleanup when it comes time for dinner dishes. I have a couple different kinds of potatoes here. We like to buy the medley. So I have the red potatoes, the golden potatoes, and purple potatoes. This is a fun way to incorporate different kinds of vegetables into your dinner repertoire and get kids to try different things. So I got some purple potatoes. I'm gonna cut up a golden potato. While I've got this, while I'm cutting all this up, I do have the toaster oven set on about 350, 375, and we are gonna end up cooking these for about 45 minutes or until the tenderness of the potatoes that you prefer. So we got our purple potato. We're big potato eaters, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut up a couple more. Red potato here. So I have our meat, our onion, our potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and add some carrots. And we're gonna get all that carrot. And then I'm gonna add the celery. Now the thing with celery is, me and my daughter Casey, we don't really like celery, we like the flavor of it. So I'm not gonna cut this up for our hobo dinners, we're just gonna leave it in there whole for the flavor of it. So once you have all your parts cut, you're simply gonna assemble by constructing and then just adding the parts. Just like that. And then you're going to season it. I'm going to put a little pink Himalayan salt, a little cracked black pepper, a little garlic salt, and then just a little dollop of butter. Once you have that made up, I like to take, they say hamburger or hot dog. I take it the hot dog way. Make a fold, and then bring the ends up like this to make my little packet. I'm gonna set that one to the side. Now we're gonna assemble the next one. love onions, so this one's obviously gonna be mine. So, we've got our potatoes, our carrots, our celery, our smoked sausage. Go ahead and season this up for us. Hold it like a hot dog. And bring the ends up. And there you have it, hobo dinners. Let me show you what they look like when they are out of the oven. With this recipe, because heat is involved, you are definitely gonna need adult supervision. And of course, you're gonna need to use pot holders and safeties. So, and there you go. How delicious does that look? So that's Hobo Dinners with Kids in the Kitchen. We'll see you next time.
Abraham Lincoln, narrated by Casey Green. I was born in a cabin in 1809. I didn't go to school, but I was smart. I liked to read. I taught myself the law. I liked books. I liked the Bible and plays by Shakespeare the best. I fell in love with Mary Todd. I married her. We had 4 sons. Only one lived to be an adult. I became a politician. I was elected president. America was divided over slavery. The South fought the North. It was the Civil War. I wanted the war to be meaningful. I worked to keep America united. I worked to free slaves because I wanted all men to be equal. As the war was ending, John Wilkes Booth killed me. I was a great president. I kept America united. I helped free the slaves.
Hi, welcome to the Craft Corner with Parks and Rec. I'm Penny Green, the assistant manager at the Burt Cobb Rec Center, and today I have my daughter Casey with me.
Hi.
For History Week, we thought it would be a pretty cool project to show you how to do tin punching, or in this case, faux tin punching. For this project, you are going to need the bottom of a pie pan or an aluminum pan. I found the really pretty blue, silver on the back, and toothpicks. If you needed to go ahead and draw your design, you can. Because of the pokes involved, I would definitely say I would have ages 5 or 6 on up, definitely with supervision. And then all you're gonna do is just start poking a design into the tin foil. Like that. And the cool thing about this is if you put a light behind it, the designs you've done will shine through. You will probably have to trade out your toothpicks in the process of it. If you had like a shish kebab skewer, that might be a little tougher to, or more durable to poke through. And how's yours looking? Let's see. Great job. There's no rhyme or reason, but the idea is if you put this in a mason jar or something like that, you can cut it to size and then put a light inside, like a votive candle or the battery operated ones.
Little tea lights.
Yep, and then when you shine the light through, the design you've poked through will come out. So we hope you enjoyed this quick little art project, faux tin punching. We'll see you next time on the Craft Corner. Bye guys.
Bye.